Today we'll be going into the biggest risers in the New York Jets' upset win over the Cleveland Browns. Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video. Today I'll be going into who are the biggest risers after the Jets' surprising upset win over the Cleveland Browns. Before we get started today, I just wanted to mention where you can follow me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. You could also subscribe to the Just Jets podcast. New episodes drop every single Wednesday. Call in, leave me your questions. We'll get to them on the show. So I am partnering with Mojo to bring you the biggest risers and fallers. Today, we'll be focusing on the positive, though. After an upset win, come on, you got to be talking about the positives. I'm going to give you the three biggest risers. So if you don't know what Mojo is, it is a sports stock market. They just launched today in New Jersey. They're on the Apple App Store right now, and it lets you invest in players' careers. This is something that I'm interested in. I don't necessarily care about the stock market. I don't know. I can't really get invested, no pun intended, invested in investing in things I don't care about. But a player's career, I'll invest in that. You can go long, you can go short, and a reminder, you're investing on the career of an athlete. So the prices are indicative of what they think this player's career is going to be like. So if you try to look at Tom Brady, his stock price is going to be extremely high and it might not change that much. But some of the guys that we're going to talk about today, a little bit on the lower side, and we see some increases. So really cool concept. Link down below in the description for info. Okay, so who are the biggest risers for the New York Jets after week 2? Obviously, the first one, Garrett Wilson. He increased 17%. His stock price went up after a monster performance. 8 catches, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns, including the game-winning touchdown in the final minute. You can't ask for a better performance from your rookie wide receiver in his second ever game. In the first game against the Ravens, he looked good, 4 catches, 52 yards, but everyone was saying that he's got to be in the offense more, has to be on the field more. Even Mike LaFleur, before or after, I guess, after the Ravens game and then leading up to this Browns game, was like, we have to get this guy out there. And guess what? It worked out. He had a ton of targets, double-digit targets. Yes, please. Continue to feed 17 the ball. Give 8 and 17 as many reps as humanly possible. This is a young Jets team outside of the quarterback right now, obviously. And there's going to be some growing pains. Like Garrett Wilson did have a drop on third down, which you really don't like to see. But he made up for it. A 2-touchdown performance day, over 100 yards in his second ever game. Stock price up 17%. It looks like he's a number 1 wide receiver right now. And obviously we'll see how the rest of the year goes. This could have been an anomaly. I don't think so. I think his talent was put on his pure talent was put on display, especially on the first touchdown. That footwork and the route running ability, he absolutely torched the Browns corner, and that's just tremendous. Number 2 is Corey Davis. He went up a little over 4%. He had 2 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. He had the monster touchdown in what I thought was garbage time initially. It's like, okay, this game is over. But a monster touchdown. And then after that, Jets get the onside kick, and then they drive down the field again. But Corey Davis, much better performance. Obviously wasn't utilized as much as what he has been in weeks gone by, and especially last year. But I like Corey Davis in this role. I think he's best suited as a number 2 or number 3 option in your receiving core. And right now, I think a top 3 of Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, and Corey Davis is actually pretty good. And again, I don't want to see Corey Davis force-fed the ball. I don't think that's necessary. But his performance in week 2 was much better than his performance in week 1. I know he maybe had some more catches in week 1, but the drop on third down was an issue for me in week 1 because it was just a continuation of what we saw last year from Corey Davis. But this week we didn't see that at all. And he's a veteran presence and a young enough veteran where he could still produce. I think Corey Davis is better suited in this role, and we saw his stock price go up. So if you think he is going to continue to rise throughout the rest of the year, maybe now's the time to invest. And the last guy we're going to talk about is Breece Hall, who had a 2.34% increase. He looked significantly better in week 2 than he did in week 1. 7 carries, 50 yards, which is 7.1 yards per attempt, a massive increase, but what was it last week? 3.8. And he had 1 catch, 10 yards, and a touchdown. This is the Breece Hall that we know and love. Eventually, we'd like to get him the ball a little bit more. I think the 1-2 punch of Breece Hall and Michael Carter is going to be a really good one. He's going to be a guy who comes on slow. So I think actually now is probably the best time to get in on him because his price, in my opinion, is only going to continue to go up as his usage goes up. But we got a little bit of a flash of what he can do. For instance, the touchdown catch was 3rd down. They were down by the goal line. It was, a 10-yard catch. But initially, I almost went into a tizzy. So if you saw my appearance on Green Bean's halftime show, hopped on there. We were talking with him. And initially on 3rd down, they were going to have Ty Johnson out on the field, which massive mistake, I think. And then the Browns took a timeout. Jets come off, they regroup, and then they go back out there, and Breece Hall's back out there. Thank God, because he, hauled in that catch. But there's no reason. I feel like unless there's an injury or someone's banged up, any Ty Johnson rep over Breece Hall or Michael Carter is just wasting time. It's a waste. It doesn't make any sense to me, but he was good. Breece Hall was very good in week 2, and hopefully we continue to see that develop. Last year against the Cincinnati Bengals, who the Jets play next, was one of Michael Carter's better games because he was utilized in both the passing attack, where he was a little dump offs, and then they ran the ball very well that game. So who knows? Maybe we get to see the real Breece Hall breakout game. It was Garrett Wilson in week 2 as a monster breakout. Maybe week 3 is Breece Hall's turn, and then you get in on him before his stock price rises. He was good today, Breece, or yesterday, I guess, but it wasn't a true breakout performance. So you're getting in on him before the true breakout. Love it. So those are my 3 biggest risers from week 2 of the NFL season. Comment below who you think the biggest risers were on the New York Jets this past week. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, I am Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.